Hello everybody, this is Purge, bringing you guys a Kunkka replay commentary. Hop into the Dota buff to make this a bit quick. I actually read some comments finally on YouTube. I almost never read comments, but people commenting, they're saying some people really like the Dota buff, some people want to skip it. If you guys want to skip it, I'm going to try to start putting annotations in. Actually, I cannot promise that because most of the time I upload a video and I walk away and I don't have time to put annotations in because I'd have to come back later, so I can't promise that, but generally people down in the comments below will post where the jump ahead is, and hopefully I can do that when I remember. So anyways, onto the Dota buff. Kunkka is a hero that is kind of popular in the pub scene. In the pro scene, he's completely unpicked, I believe, and that's basically because he's a bit weird and a bit easy to counter and kind of a bad carry, but kind of can carry. He's kind of a jack of all trades. Occasionally we see him as like a roaming support, and that kind of works too, but that's about really the only place we see him. I think he's okay middle against some matchups, not good versus others. In the off lane he's terrible, and in the safe lane he's okay, but kind of bad because of your second skill, which is Tidebringer. It basically gives you a cleave hit every certain amount of seconds, 13 down to 4 seconds, and it does bonus damage and radius. So very, very good skill. It's one of the best abilities in ability draft because it basically turns your hero into, you basically get a lot of farming out of nothing. So you farm with it, you can build damage items to cleave, that's really good. His other skills are based around stuns and AoE. Torrent is a delayed cast spell. Delay is 1.6 seconds, and then it stuns for 1 second, I think. 1.5 seconds, and slows for up to 4 seconds afterwards. So the Torrent is it's a pretty good ability. It does a lot of damage at level 1, 120 damage, but it's kind of hard to land. 10-second cooldown. It got buffed recently, so it doesn't show which direction you're casting Torrent now. It just shows you raising your arm, so you can juke people a lot better with it and trick people because it's a skill shot on the ground. It's very hard to land. To make it easy to land, use X marks the spot, which grabs somebody, and after up to 4 seconds, it will send them back to that place. If it's an ally, it's up to 8 seconds. And you can also bring them back earlier. So what you basically do is you cast X marks the spot, and then you cast Torrent, and then you pull them back, and the Torrent hits them guaranteed. So the way they change X marks the spot is, instead of it being a certain amount of seconds to cast it, it now is a range to cast it. So if you want to cast it on somebody and you want to land the Torrent, you just have to get within range now, rather than it just being a timer thing. Because before, level 1 X is essentially worthless, but now it's actually decent at level 1, except for the fact that the range is so low. And your ultimate is mostly called the boat, but it is called Ghost Ship. You send out a ghost boat, and as it passes through your allies, it gives them 10% movement speed for 10 seconds, and it also reduces any damage they take by 50%. And at the end of that 10 seconds, they slowly take the damage that they previously delayed back, and it can't kill you. And I don't know what the duration of it dealing damage to you is, but it's like over the course of a couple seconds, 10 seconds maybe, something like that. But it does a huge amount of damage, 400 to 600 magic damage. The cooldown's very low, 60 to 40 seconds. And the mana cost is not bad either, 150 to 250. The stun duration is 1.4. So it's a weak, kind of okay stun, but it's big AoE, and it does a lot of damage. It's a very good nuke. If you combo with Torrent, you're talking about a lot of damage and a lot of stun duration, up to 3 seconds of stun. So very good hero for team fighting because it gives your team Kunkka's roam, which means you take half the damage for 10 seconds, which means that you might be able to escape after the other 10 and escape. It's very good, very hard to fight into the Kunkka's roam, and the damage it does is pretty big too if you can land it on a bunch of heroes. But usually it's just used to set up on one guy. Common items, phase boot's very normal because you need to position to land the Tidebringer. Basically, to use Tidebringer, you have to hit a creep, and then it creates an AoE behind that creep of where you hit the creep. And the damage that's done is based on the damage you do. So it's based on your damage attribute, basically, or how much damage you do, basically. It doesn't have to do with armor at all. Cleave is pure damage. The only thing that reduces it is damage block. But you're doing so much damage with it that most damage blocks will barely reduce this. So Cleave is very, very good against many things. And for this reason, Kunkka is decent against some heroes like PL. He can work against him. Daedalus is really popular because you can then crit higher, which increases the cleave damage. Shadowblade does not allow you to do bonus cleave with it, I believe. You know, it does. It does increase the damage for the cleave. So if you Shadowblade, you get a bit of extra splash with the 175, which is quite good. I think it does work. I might be wrong on that though. Crystallis, basically the build up to Daedalus. Battle Fury is pretty good because it doesn't stack the cleave exactly, though it basically gives you another source of cleave. This cleave only does, what's the range? 280 area, whereas the Tidebringer is up to 600 radius, so it's like more than double. So Battle Fury is basically a close range cleave, and the Tidebringer is a big range cleave. So they don't stack. Well, they do stack, but only within that small range, basically. So, and the other good thing about Battle Fury, it gives you cleave. Normally when you're auto-attacking, it gives you a lot of damage increase, which is great with Tidebringer, and also the important part is it gives you HP and mana regeneration, which is really nice. It also helps you farm really fast, because it also includes a Quelling Blade now. The Quelling Blade doesn't allow you to splash that quelling damage on everything, to my knowledge. Even creeps, I believe, but for the primary target you're hitting, it increases your farm speed. A lot of people buy in Silver Edge because Shadow Blade is a common build. I'm not a huge fan of Silver Edge most times, but because you are strength here, it's a little better, because that extra 16 strength is actually 16 more damage. So Silver Edge is a bit better on this hero than it was in the past, but the most common build I think is actually a Blink Dagger on Kunkka right now. You don't see it in pub games because most players are a little out of the loop, but it basically allows you to blink in, cast X marks the spot, cast your boat, to follow up with torrent. Torrent will hit them first, boat will land, and you can do this all as you initiate. Or what you can use, you can X marks the spot yourself, then you can blink in towards the enemy where it's dangerous, hit once for the Tidebringer, and then recast X on yourself to teleport yourself back. It's basically a way to be really annoying. And let's see heroes you're good against. Meepo makes sense. Basically, you're going to be good against any hero that's weak to AoE, because Kunkka has so much AoE. Good against Meepo, you've got lots of magic AoE, you've got pure AoE basically. Chaos Knight is weak to AoE. PL weak to AoE. Beastmaster, I guess a little weak to AoE because you can kill his illusions, or you can kill summons very easily. Axe, generally standing in one place. That's probably why Torrent Boat is good, because you can hit him with that. And also, the important part is that it reduces the amount of damage that everybody takes. So if the boat comes through and they only take half the damage, then Axe is less likely to be able to land dunks. So that's probably why Axe is here. Darkseer, probably because you can X him to keep him from running away. Pugna, I'm not quite sure. Maybe the same thing, reduced damage dealt. And Sand King, I don't know. Some of these are a little weird. A little surprised about the last three. Heroes he's bad against. Heroes that have high survivability, magic immunity. Because Kunkka's a little bursty. For a carry, he's actually kind of bursty. He's not very high damage over time. Lifestealer can just enrage, can also kill him very fast because he does a lot of physical damage. Oh yeah, basically minus armor heroes are going to be here. So Alchemist, Lifestealer, because Kunkka's armor is very, very low. His agility gain is atrocious at 1.3 per level, and he starts with very low agility, so his attack speed's pretty weak. His base armor is low at 2. And Techies does a lot of physical damage, so Techies probably kills him very often. Also, he's pretty much melee, so killing Techies is tough. Keeper of the Light, I don't know, Blinding Light, I guess. Mana drain. If he's not moving, he's pretty incapable of doing stuff. Juggernaut can just spin, so he will never get torrented. Bat Rider, not sure. Tinker, not quite sure. And Sniper, I don't know, he's ranged. So some of these don't really make a huge amount of sense, but they're pretty small margins anyways. So the big ones that make a lot of sense, Lifestealer, Alchemist, Techies kind of make sense to me. The rest, Jug makes sense to me too, but the rest are kind of weird. So in terms of skill build, this is basically the pub skill build, but I don't recommend this one. This build only works well if you are amazing at landing torrents, because the way that your boat basically works is you only want to throw it when you know your torrent's going to land, because when your torrent lands, then you're saying, oh, my torrent landed, the boat's definitely going to hit. But against good players, you can't really expect this unless you're comboing off of your allies. So this build works if you're amazing at landing torrents and predicting people's movements. If you can't do that, you need at least 1 or 2 levels of X marks the spot. Usually 2 points. That way you can land the X into torrent into boat. So we'll see what build I go. I don't quite remember what I do this game, but since it was like a week ago, I know I told you guys I was going to do 2 videos a week. But unfortunately I haven't had quite time, but I should have time the next week to start pounding through videos like that and uploading like crazy. So hopefully you guys have been enjoying the replay commentaries. I do want to do a pubcast, but I just ran out of time today, and I'm sorry about that. So hopefully tomorrow, fingers crossed. So I'm playing with a bunch of friends that I normally play with. I'm gonna just jump forward a little bit here. Let's see where I'm going. I think I was playing mid. Yeah, I was playing mid. I randomed, so I got extra gold, of course. If I didn't random, well, just to talk about this matchup for just a moment, whenever you're against a Pudge, what you basically need to do is you need to make sure that you have more HP and more regen than the Pudge, because the way that Rot works is it does equal damage to Pudge as it does to you. So if you guys are just auto-attacking each other and he's rotting, then Rot doesn't really do that much, because he's taking just as much damage as you are. So if you have more survivability in a right-click battle than your enemy Pudge, and you've got no creeps hitting you, and you just auto-attack them the whole time, then you'll actually beat a Pudge. So when you're playing a melee hero versus Pudge, the important thing to do is have more regen than them, if possible. And if we look at what Pudge has, he came to lane with just a single tango, and I brought a salve, which is really important. Because if I ever trade with Pudge and I get kind of low and I'm able to kill him or zone him out, then I can full heal, and then I can just continue to farm. Because if my HP goes low, then I can't trade anymore. So beating a Pudge in lane is basically just about regen management and making sure that you trade hits effectively. If he's chasing you with Rot and you have the same HP as him, just right click him. And if you have a stun or something like that, you'll probably beat him because you'll have a bit more damage output than him. So that's important. So that's why I brought a salve to lane. Otherwise, I probably would have just gone like stats into a bottle or something. So every time he comes up to hit me and rots me, I'm just going to hit him right back. So if you are against a melee though, it's pretty easy to abuse Tidebringer because you're pretty much a ranged hero. And what I want to do is I want to use Tidebringer to splash on my opponent. And every time I hit a creep, I'm also splashing for 15 bonus damage, which puts me up around 70 damage. And that's pure damage that will hit him. It doesn't get reduced by his armor. His armor's pretty low, so it's kind of irrelevant, but it'll be okay. And I'm not too concerned about always using Tidebringer to get a last hit. I am more just concerned about lowering Pudge's HP if possible. That's really what I want to do. Because if I continue to lower his HP, then he's not going to feel very safe trying to kill me. You can use Tidebringer very nicely to deny because the buff does not go away. I actually got hooked here. That was a pretty nice hook by him. But if you attack your own creeps, it doesn't use the active. So that's pretty cool. So I'm able to use myself. I'm going to be full HP, whereas Pudge is not. And I'm just kind of waiting for him to show again. At the same time, I don't want to chance my last hit here. But I do get the harass off on him. There was a different build in Kunkka going around recently, and it was the 1-1-3 build, I believe. And that build was actually a little weird because it was basically done so that with 3 levels of X marks the spot, you could guarantee land your boat with a torrent on your opponents. When you didn't go that build against good players, you would never be able to land it. So a lot of players in the Chinese scene, to my knowledge, were going for that build because it was basically the only way to guarantee that your boat lands with your torrent. Otherwise, you can dodge the torrent into the boat. So the build changed slightly, but regardless of that, I just wanted to max out Tidebringer as fast as possible, because if you do get it on a very low cooldown, it increases your farming speed by a huge amount, and it also allows you to harass your melee opponents. So the only reason I was torrenting that creep wave is because I wanted to push things out. See that little splash that I got down here? That told me that I actually got Pudge. It's a nice little advantage there. This is a little scary because he has a DD now. Remember what I said about trading? Well, now it's not very good trading with him because he's got double the damage that I do, so I have to be a little careful here. But luckily for me, I was able to pick up my boots. I maybe should have waited a second to hit with Tidebringer there, because I could have gotten some free harass in. It's a little scary now. I basically have to be careful whenever he approaches my creep wave. Missed my torrent, unfortunately. Maybe should X him here. Right there, I should have X'd him, I think. I feel like I could have killed him there if I really wanted to, but I played a little careful because of his DD. Don't know if I needed to. But there was a period of time when I used to have a lot of trouble against Pudges in lane, but at some point I just started really figuring it out. It's really all about having more HP than him and not getting hooked into a shitty position, and then you are all good. Oops. Hold him back. All I had to do was dodge the hook, and it was an easy kill. But unfortunately for me, he ended up rotting. That was my bad, honestly. I maybe should have held my attack for a little bit. I knew that he was very likely to die there, though. If I just got the torrent off, again, it's 120 magic damage, and then he's going to feel really vulnerable, and then I just have to dodge the hook, and I will be all good. This was a little annoying. By a little, I mean extremely. I can do a lot of damage to them, but luckily they backed off eventually. Continuing to use my tangos to heal back up. And with an illusion rune, you can actually do decent things with an illusion rune against a Pudge. It's just more right-click damage, right? So if he does end up poking me, I can just spawn illusions and just hit him like crazy if possible. And killing a Pudge, it doesn't give me gold and it doesn't give me experience, but it does limit his experience, or his gold gain and his experience gain. So it sucks, but it's not the worst thing ever. Got a free hit on him there. be a little careful about my positioning. The other thing to do against Pudge is always stand really close to the creep wave, because if you're right next to creeps, it becomes a lot harder to land your last hits. So eating a tango here, and I have my ultimate, so I can definitely try to go for a hit or a kill. Most of the times when I'm playing Kunkka, I actually don't last hit very well, and it kind of limits me a bit. Like there's this way to play mid with Kunkka that it's basically the bottle build, or the the Battle Fury build. That's quite good. It was developed by Attacker, I believe, is a European player, and he goes mid and he goes really fast Battle Fury. And with the Battle Fury, it increases his farm, and then he gets a Blink Dagger, and then he can basically do a lot of really aggressive, strong moves. Kind of wanted to try for a kill here, but sort of felt like a waste. We saw him going top, so I decided to send an illusion after him, so hopefully they could spot to see where he was, and then my team wouldn't get hooked. That's the plan. I don't remember if that actually worked out or not, but that was the plan. Didn't get that last hit though, unfortunately.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Got a couple last hits that time at least. And basically just right-clicking one illusion on the Pudge.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
That was unfortunate. I should have moved to get ready for that rune, honestly. Because losing a haste is a really big deal. Even as a Kunkka, it's a really fantastic rune. Especially because my Tidebringer is now level 4. Every 4 seconds, I can hit somebody for 130 pure damage. That's like a 200 magic damage nuke. Look, I just hit him for 137. That was pure damage. Like, it's so amazing at pushing once you get up to level 4. Before level 4, the skill's good, but not amazing. But at level 4, it's so good. It is so good. Another really good way to abuse Tidebringer is to get rapiers, things like that. Just huge raw damage. And then you hit a creep and you kill everybody. It's pretty good. Although they do have some good counters. I'm sorry, that's my team. Nyx Assassin is a good counter. Is Bristle back? I guess Bristle's okay. I think he damage blocks it. I'm pretty sure. So Bristle's okay. What do I have on the courier? Not sure. Something's on the courier. I got the 3 more. Again, building the Battle Fury here. Pudge really just didn't spend a whole lot of time in lane. I could also TP to a lane and go for a ganking. Maybe I should, because I feel like when you hit level 7 on Kunkka, I mean, maybe this isn't the example with this skill build, but if you play Kunkka otherwise and you go like 3 levels of X, I think it's actually really important to go for an early kill. Like, if I have boat, I should honestly be using it, because it's a 400 damage nuke on a 60-second cooldown. Like, I can very easily just boat somebody and result in like I could have just hit the catapult there to get that creep. That was a mistake. I can very easily just throw the boat and get a kill on somebody, right? But not really so on Pudge, maybe, but on a lot of other heroes, it's definitely something I can do. So I'm gonna go shift over and see if I can get a kill over by where the Pudge is, or I'll just wait for the rune, I guess. But you should have a lot of CS on Kunkka, and I actually did very well on CS in this game. I'm almost at 50, and it's only 8 minutes. So that's like an ideal last hitting game. I think the only heroes that I can do this really well on are ones that have pretty abusable AoE, like Leshrac and Kunkka, things like that. Where you just kind of lightning storm, or Death Prophet, for example. You just kind of nuke the creep wave, and bam, you've got your last hits. Definitely was willing to trade 2 tower hits there for a last hit. I think it's worth it when my HP is full. I wasn't a huge fan of the Earthshaker coming mid and taking 4 CS like that, but oh well. This is like. I also don't have a TP, which is a bit of a mistake. If you're playing mid, it's really recommended that you do get one. That way you can kind of cover your allies. Decided to back up for the boat here. Actually worked out really nice. Unfortunately, I also had this happen. I got hooked on the way back. So the reason that I ran away from the Crystal Maiden is because the range on Ghost Ship is actually really big. It's 1,000 range. So you basically can't Ghost Ship on an area right next to you. So if you do want to Ghost Ship somebody and your X is a low level, you have to cast X and then you have to run away from them. And then you cast the boat and then you cast the torrent. And you do it in that order because that way they go straight from the perma-stun of the torrent into the stun of the boat, and they guarantee that all the damage hits them. So while I did kill the Crystal Maiden there, I also got hooked, which sucked. Didn't expect that, and I ended up dying because of it. On the bright side, I bought up before I died, I guess, but I also probably should have bought either treads or phase boots. I think would have been smart. Like, just sticking on brown boots, I feel like is a really big waste of the efficiency that you get by going for either Phase or Battle Fury. You just lose all that value by doing it, so I think it's a mistake to do it. But in this case, if you're rushing to Battle Fury, it's pretty good. It's pretty good to do. A Magic Wand, I think, is a great Kunkka item to get because your armor's so low, and you do actually need mana by a lot, whether to cast an X, or a Torrent, or a Boat. A lot of... Oh, I forgot about that. That was so painful. I wasn't watching the clock, and all of a sudden my DD evaporated, so that sucked. DD is really good on Kunkka, because then you splash all that damage through. Happy to push this lane. My CS basically just didn't move for 2 minutes there. That was really unfortunate. I got some farm, I suppose, but it's like an awfully dead Earthshaker. I like having the treants here. It helps a lot against the Pudge. And because Pudge missed his hook, this kind of guarantees that we're able to get this. This would be a great time to have a Phase Boots. Got a regen.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
I don't know if she had Frostbite or not, but she didn't use it, so alright. I probably should have just torrented her, honestly, rather than running back, but I think a TP was good. Oh yeah, I was also very worried about the Bounty Hunter. Luckily for me, the buff, or the change at least to... The change to Shuriken, the cast range is a lot smaller than it used to be. I basically ran all over the map trying to go for this kill, and I just didn't get there in time. That was unfortunate. I actually don't even know if they ended up killing him. I don't remember. He actually lived. That was so many ultimates. He's actually still running. That was embarrassing for the team. I think I only got 3 of those. Could have done a bit better. But my Battle Fury is pretty on target. Plus, if you compare to what Anti-Mage usually gets, an Anti-Mage usually gets like a 12 or 13 minute Battle Fury. I've also got a bottle and a Magic Wand, and I bought some TPs, and I've been able to get it, or I'm going to get it about the same time. So, most games that I tried that made Kunkka, I don't last hit well enough for it to be good, because my Battle Fury gets so delayed, and that delays my Blink Dagger, and then I'm like, well, I shouldn't have gone this build, I should have just gone like Shadow Blade and gone ganking, or something like that. But I felt pretty comfortable with this one, at least. I think we did a good job. Chachi was pressuring towers really well.
Bottom tower is under attack.
Now, Bristleback's definitely not a hero we can kill. You can very easily just turn his back to where the source of my damage is coming from. And since my damage is a little bursty and a little carry-oriented, it's not going to scale very well. Which means that Bristleback can basically very, very easily deal with it. Fortunately for me, I missed my horn. It's a good stun by the Nyx, and I was able to boat myself, which means any damage I take is reduced by half. I just wanted to X him, that way if he kept chasing me, he was going to have to go back no matter what. So, from here I just run back to base. Don't quite have my quelling yet, so my Battle Fury isn't finished, which sucks, but... yeah. I actually didn't think the Pudge... I thought the Pudge was going to get hit. I thought he was going to dodge it by going left upon watching the replay, but he was actually so fast he could just get away from it. So if you cast X at slightly the wrong time, where people's movement speed is really maxed out, then they don't really have to worry about getting caught. So you have to be really precise with the way that you do your X combos. And again, the way it is, you cast X, you cast Torrent, and after about 1.25, 1.4 seconds, you cast X again to pull him back, because the Torrent is about 1.5, 1.6 delay. So you want to do a little bit before. It comes down to different things. Do they have a Blink Dagger, or could they Eul's themselves? If you time things perfectly based on like what these little options are, then you have the solution basically. So you might have to adjust it depending on different factors. So at this point, my bottle was empty. I was like, I'm just going to TP back and get the Battle Fury because I'll have it finished fast. And here it is picked up. So it does 55 damage. That damage all goes into my Tidebringer cleave, and I also get an additional small AoE 35% of my damage cleave done in an area around me. So Battlefield kind of really accelerates your damage. The Kunkka build like 5 years ago in Dota 1 was basically like get 3 Battle Furies and a Daedalus maybe, or a BKB or something like that. It was quite interesting. So the thing that's craziest actually is that once you do have a Battle Fury, you do the most damage to the target that you're not attacking, to my knowledge, yeah. Because the guy that you're attacking...
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Luckily he did take full damage there. Cancel my attack twice there, but a mistake. Just always has these moments. I messed up my Tidebringer though, I should hit 2 heroes. This is my turn too. I X the Lycan so we can run away. Yeah, it helped. Got my phase boots finally. I don't know if I should have gone treads. Okay, so I'll tell you about like why you do more damage to other heroes. So the reason you do more damage to the guy you're not hitting is first of all because he doesn't get armor reduction because you're doing cleave damage then, which is pure. That's reason number 1. And reason number 2 is because the plus 55 damage that I get from my Battle Fury, it gets applied in the Tidebringer. And then I also cast a 35% cleave that comes out as well. So the 35% cleave is going to do 35% of my total damage, and that only hits people that I'm not directly hitting. So they take basically 135% if they're within this AoE. If they're within this 280 area, they're taking 135% of my right-click damage, which is pretty amazing, really. So you basically do a little bit more damage to heroes nearby. So if I'm trying to kill a really high armor hero, I want to hit the guy next to him rather than the direct guy, because the guy directly will get armor reduction. Look at that splash. I just did like 270 damage to that bounty hunter. Every 4 seconds. Like, it's so good. It's really, really strong. But the downsides are still there. You have to get the items to be able to do this. You're playing a melee hero against a lot of heroes that will... I need to boat here, I think. This is really bad. I really should have boated. I don't know why I didn't. Should have boated much, much earlier. If I only have 400 HP, then the boat doesn't do much. It still takes... If I have 200 HP, it only takes 400 to kill me, you know? I should have boated immediately. But I didn't know that the Pudge was there, I guess. I probably didn't see him coming, so... Moderate mistake there. Saving up for Blink Dagger next. Whenever you're going to defend a lane, unless you need to be there instantly, always TP to the tower behind. It's able to land the boat as well. Probably should have hit the creep instead. That was actually terrifying. Oh, and then we ditched. Jerry thought that we could kill him, and I think he was right. Look how much damage I took though from the boat running out. It's pretty severe. But I think we definitely ditched him. We should have killed him. I could have X'd into a torrent.
Visibility.
I don't know what that was about.
The seeds of fortune.
So I've kind of been battling a lot, but I think it's fine to do that. You also might be wondering why I didn't go for the 4th level of X. I don't know. It's basically a preference. Lower cooldown, longer initiation range. I would actually argue that maybe getting the 4th point is a little important, because it would allow me to catch some people that are maybe hard to kill. But they don't have very difficult to kill heroes this game. It's pretty much just like heroes that run fast or go invisible. If there's something that can blink away, I might want the longer cast range, because that gives me a better chance to cast the X, which is going to allow me to do the full combo. Once you cast the X, they're caught. Unless they chain stun you and prevent you from Xing back at the right time. That's the one solution against it. Look how fast I jungle though, it's so great with Battle Fury. My Blink Dagger is still pretty delayed though. Like, I've got 2 kills, or 4 kills, but I have died twice as well. And getting from camp to camp is a little slow. Again, I should be hitting the other targets, not the strongest one. Should be hitting the second strongest unit there, probably, because it would do far more damage to that unit. So if I'm doing a large camp like this, I should be hitting the weaker camps, because then it'll do bonus damage to the main wildkin. I'll basically farm it slightly faster, so my target acquisition is a little bit wrong here. Find a Purge. Barely missed that one. At this point I was like, oh, we're playing against a bounty hunter, maybe I should buy a dust. We were able to get him there. Waited until pretty much last second. 3 levels of X marks the spot, won't be able to catch up, and back to farming, I guess. That was alright, and I got my dust, the important part, so we can kill bounty hunter pretty reliably now. One really nice thing about playing against invis heroes as Kunkka is that once you cast the X, you're guaranteed the stun setup. It doesn't matter if they go invis or blink away. The only thing that counters it is BKB. I think you can Yules as well. Yules dodges X marks the spot. If Kunkka's doing aggressive things where he like blinks forward, I knew the Lycan was rushing here, I believe. Oh god, I remember this. So I thought TPing would be a solution. It was not. Didn't want to die here. So we missed the kill. The problem was that Roche bashed me, so I wasn't able to cast the torrent in time. So I knew that the torrent wouldn't land. And then he basically just ran out of the enclosure pretty easily. That was pretty obnoxious. So he got out. I don't know if Chachi did it on purpose, but that sprout was actually really good. Because if Lycan has a quelling, and he did, and if you enclose the space, rather than casting the sprout on the Lycan, he instead puts the sprout in front of where he's going, then he has to quelling through 2 sets of trees to get out. So I don't know if he did that on purpose, but it's really good if he did. I doubt he did. Not saying he's not getting better or anything, but maybe he was. I don't know. That's something I just thought of. Never thought of that before. They have to be in like a blocked in position though, otherwise that won't work. Guy looks real dead. Trying to catch up if possible. Still in that blink dagger though, unfortunately. Felt so long to run the blink this game. I don't know why, but probably because I kept dying, or probably because I actually didn't get a whole lot of kills and it was like fairly slowly just farming creeps. Not that fast really. All right, there we go. That's how I should do it. So when I have Tidebringer up and you want to do maximum damage, I should hit something other than the target I want to kill or do the most damage to. And when Tidebringer's down, then I want to hit the target directly, because then I don't have full cleave. So when Tidebringer's not up, I only have 35% cleave. When Tidebringer's up, I have 135. So that's how you have to think about it. Tidebringer, hit the off target. When Tidebringer's down, you hit the primary target. More phasing.
And run.
We were basically constantly checking to see if Lycan was rushing, because Lycan was actually pretty scary this game. He did a nice job, I think. 4-1 and 4. That's like actually a really big danger.
Regeneration.
That son of a bitch. Looks like a fight is a brewing. Not really the hero I want to initiate on, but I think I was a little bit late. I was late on the pullback there. That was really nice. Purge though.
I troll your guts with my blade.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Ah man, if I would have splashed that properly, that would have been really good. I
Radiant
think.
structures are fortified.
Just gotta click on him.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
You're all washed up.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Oh, I should use face.
Radiant's bottom tower
Used face so
has
late.
fallen.
Well, that was kind of okay. It was really sloppy, but God, Necro 3 just wrecks me.
Dare to be away from the sacred woods.
Because my armor is so low. I just have very little survivability. I'm decent against magic nukes because my strength gain is good. Your strength gain is really good on Kunkka. 3 strength per level,
Radiant's
but
bottom barracks
you
are
just
under
don't
attack.
have the armor, man. You need armor for physical survivability. You gotta have HP and armor to beat physical. You can't just have HP.
Radiant's bottom barracks are under attack.
So that's rough. Luckily, the Bristleback won a bad build. Did he get SNY though? He did not. He went Pipe Crimson. Really don't like that build. It just doesn't do nearly enough damage. So I'm in a pretty good place now. Again, Blink Dagger, Battle Fury. I've been able to move around a little. You haven't really needed to see me do like hit and run, where I X myself, blink forward, and attack. That's because we're not really behind. We basically want to take any fight that we can get. So I'm happy just to go in and fight because I feel comfortable doing so. But if they were really ahead and they were pushing our towers, I would use the X trick to basically just hop forward and do some damage and get back out. I don't think I do it very much this game at all, to be honest. So, if at all, I don't know if you'll see it.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Got a Bristleback mid. Give him the boat as well, for good measure.
Echo slam.
Torrent's actually, like, it's such a good disable combo. Like, 10-second cooldown is so little. Messed that one up, but still okay. Now we can kind of just run over our opponents. Like, when you think about the cooldown and you get to this point on Kunkka, he's actually a really strong hero. Like, every 10 seconds you can do 300 magic nuke, which slows by 35% for 4 seconds, and it stuns for 1.5 seconds.
Radiant's middle
And it
tower
also
is
buys you
under
like
attack.
2 extra seconds. It's more of like a, if you think of it in a way, it's more like a 3-second stun because it guarantees that your opponent is going to stay further out of position. Like, they can't escape basically. The only solution they have is going magic immune basically. Another reason that Lifestealer is better than Kunkka, or better, good against Kunkka. Because if you X him and you go to Torrent, he can just rage and then you don't pull him back. So you need that magic immunity. I broke his ultimate there by double tapping X, but unfortunately didn't save him. It's a little dangerous. I needed a boat here, but unfortunately I missed just about everything.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
I don't know why I did that. That seemed really...
Dire's bottom
Oh
tower
shit.
has
That's right.
fallen.
I forgot about
Dire's
this.
structures are
Ah,
fortified.
Lycan doing what Lycan does. Taking your
Radiant's
shit.
top tower is under attack.
I think he teleported away. Oh, that's right, and then Chachi died. So he didn't build any HP items. I don't know why I torrented there. Didn't seem to have much of a purpose, did it? I actually have a lot of gold now, and I'm building an AC because I need to solve my low armor problem. Again, this is the same problem that you will have. Every game is Kunkka, pretty much. Slows are pretty annoying as well if you do encounter them, because it prevents you from being able to land your cleave every 4 seconds. So that's a problem you have to deal with. Alright, so AC on the way. Now, you're probably wondering, how does AC interact with the Battle Fury and Cleave? It actually doesn't at all. The only thing it does is increases my attack speed, which means that I will be able to Battle Fury Cleave more often. It also increases the damage that I do to my primary target, because now they have less armor. Again, that's the only way that armor works with Cleave interaction. Well, it's not even Cleave interaction, it's just damage interaction. If I hit somebody directly, and they have a lower armor, then I will do more damage. That's simply how it works. But the important part is that I'm increasing my personal survivability by a huge amount. 15 armor is really a massive number. It's a huge amount of survivability. I think it's about 60% for 10 armor, so 15 is something like half of that, like 90%. So it's like I'm doubling my HP. It's basically, I'm almost doubling my survivability against physical damage by buying an AC, which is so much. Tried to pull back the bristle here, but got out of range. I can't really kill him anyways, honestly. In a normal game, if I was playing more like a glass cannon build, and I wasn't as worried about like a lichen and wolves and all that crap, then I'd probably go for just a Daedalus here. Or you can get a second Battle Fury too if you'd like. It's an option, but I think it's better to go for the Daedalus. In this game, it's better to get AC though, definitely. I think I X'd myself here.
Back to pull.
That's kind of what you do with X. Jump in, do a little bit of damage. Beautiful torrent. That looked like a boat target if I've ever seen one. We were able to kill the Lycan there in that fight. Like, when you play Kunkka, you kind of have to just read the team fights, is how you do it. I got a kill there without dust. It's kind of fun. You have to read the team fights. You have to be like, alright, I think they're going to be there for approximately 2 seconds. When Warlock drops his golems, and it's going to upheaval afterwards, that's basically the moment. You're like, oh, it's happening. This is the time. And then you throw your torrent and your boat combo. And if you land it, you do, you know, 500, is it 500? 600 and 300. That's 900 AoE magic damage. Isn't that ridiculous? And even if that doesn't somehow kill them, then you roll up and you do like 270, 280 pure damage to everybody else. Like, it is so much AoE damage. It's incredible. If you do get the items first, and the important part is getting the Battle Fury, because it does give you the HP regen, the mana regen, and increases your damage number. Sure, you can get like a Daedalus and stuff and rely on a Daedalus for your damage output, but it's just dangerous to do that in most cases. It like limits your farming a bit, and finishing the Daedalus takes a very, very long time. Going for the Battle Fury is like a much safer build in my opinion. And if the game does end up going long and you don't have that many kills, then you can fall back on having the Battle Fury cleave for farming pretty much. Like, that's very important to have that. So, a very short Kunkka game, but I feel like you guys got a pretty good picture of how good X Torrents are. If you can land the X Torrents, Kunkka's a pretty good hero. And from there, you just have to get a lot of last hits, and you can dominate a mid hero. If it's something like a Viper, you don't want to play Kunkka mid, because Viper will beat you. If it's like a Storm, I wouldn't play Kunkka mid, because he can just Remnant and zone you out every time you come in for a harass. But, you know, if it's a semi-weak mid hero, or you're playing at a low-level pub, and you feel like you can actually use Kunkka against some of those better heroes, then go for it. Maybe Kunkka versus Quap is even... Nah, I wouldn't want to do that, but there's a couple matchups, like against Purge or something, or some maybe unconventional mids that you'll work fine. I won't want to do him against Leshrac. Most typical mids, he's not going to work, but there are some games where Kunkka's pretty fun, and I recommend trying him out, because he's not a strong hero right now, but he has his strengths. It's just, you can't quite put him into usefulness. I didn't mention this earlier, but the reason he's not very good in safe lane is because if you get Tidebringer, you're just pushing the lane all the time, and you don't want to do that either. So if you go safe lane, you almost have to just go X and Torrent, but that kind of cancels the purpose of having Tidebringer, so you kind of just have to hold your stat points. So it's kind of a shitty place to be in. Kunkka, he kind of has to go mid. I think he's best mid, but he's not good versus so many mid heroes, and that's one of the reasons he's not played very much. So that's Kunkka. You can play him against Dragon Knight, I guess. There's a couple other heroes, not many. Yeah, that's it. Alright, thanks for watching, guys. See you tomorrow. Bye.